Welcome back to the OTB podcast, New Zealand's original and still the best mountain bike podcast. This week, we've got a special quick catch up with Charlie Murray, fresh off his win at the AWS round in Poland. This legend of a man joins us just minutes before his flight's about to board to head back to France and tell us about what went down over the weekend. Thanks to Troy Letter Design, Smith Optics, and Filthy Bike Wash for making the OTB podcast happen. On to the show. All right, what a weekend of racing that was. But on the line today, Charlie Murray, winner of the Enduro World Series, or EDR, I guess we call it now, in Poland. Charlie, mate, absolutely ripper of a day. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, KB. Yeah, it's been a couple of days of celebrating and congratulating messages and hugs from the Kiwi crew over here. Just super happy to put it together. It was quite a stressful race, actually. It came down to the wire, as you probably would have seen.
Yeah. I'm literally looking at the result spread currently, and I mean, Salome put in an absolute charge on the last three stages, but it looks like the stage you won, he got an 8. So that was obviously where you just, kind of balanced it out, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if he made a mistake or if he just wasn't attacking, because it started raining and everyone thought it was going to be slippery, but I was like, I'm just going to ride it like it's dry. And then it ended up being pretty much dry.
I think I saw one clip of you just feet up, absolutely wide open, drifting a turn, which probably a lot of people have. So maybe that was the stage you're talking about.
No, that was actually a different stage, but it was like that. There was probably 2 corners that really spooked you and was super slick, and then the rest was just dry. So I just somehow made it through those 2 corners and then just was riding it like it was dry. And I think that is why I had a good stage on stage 2, and that carried me through the race, which was pretty lucky because Slav, he's always a Polish local, so he knew a bit more where he was going than I did, and especially it being a little bit wet throughout the day was really helpful for me, because if it was dry the whole time, I think, when it's wet, the local advantage doesn't really help so much.
Nah, it kind of balances out a lot more. But man, down to the absolute wire of 0.095 of a second. Like, could you get any tighter than that? That's insane.
I know. Well, I made a bit of a mistake at the top of stage 5. There's my GoPro run up on YouTube, so you can see it. But kind of the first or second corner. Yeah, so I was so nervous because going into it, I was kind of just in front all day. Well, since that stage 2, I was kind of like a couple seconds in the green. And then, obviously Slav was just making inroads to that lead. He was slowly chipping away at it. And then top of stage 5, I knew I had a tiny gap. I just have to go 100% down the stage. But I was too nervous and just tense off the top and just wasn't thinking, and just pretty much rode off the track into these sort of bushes. But they luckily were quite soft, and I just went straight through them and then back on the track. So I lost a second, but it was nothing major. But it could have been the end of the race very easily. And then I knew I made that mistake, so I just pedaled like a madman down the bottom. And Steph Gardner was there on the side of the track, just absolutely yelling himself hoarse. That kind of made the difference. Just sprinted to the line with absolutely everything I had, and it was just enough. So it was lucky he was there cheering me on, I reckon, because every pedal stroke counted.
Were you how far were you in the order of the runs? Were you last man down, or?
I was second to last. Richie was last.
Right. Okay.
Which is quite good, because you didn't want to be it was just so stressful waiting at the bottom for Richie to come down. I wouldn't want to wait for any more people.
Yeah, and I mean, Richie's obviously it was super tight even back to Richie, and we've all seen the kind of damage he's put into people in the past too, so you wouldn't have been sleeping on him either.
Oh, no way. In finale, in the last stage, which was about the same length, 5 minutes, he put 7 seconds into second place.
Holy shit.
Just on that one stage. And
absolute beast.
And I thought he was going to do the same thing on the stage 5, and he came down and he was like, I had a good run. I don't know how you boys stayed in front. He's like, I thought I had you. So that was quite a compliment. I was like, obviously I must have been going pretty crazy down the bottom of that stage as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. And I mean, we had you on, we kind of did a bit more of a full-length podcast last year, but I mean, just the rise that you have put in from where you came from, it's not like you were some prodigy mountain bike kid who grew up in a bike park. I know you picked up a bike pretty late. You had an absolute wild, first EWS experience.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard that story for the listeners, you've got to go and listen to that full length episode we did. But man, to get to this point, like, mate, you must have lost your mind just taking that win.
Oh, mate, it still hasn't really sunk in. It doesn't really seem real. Just to look back on like where I've come from, and I think it was 2018 was my first race, international race, and Richie's mechanic, Polar, he actually saved the day because like we talked about, I blew that brake hose.
Yeah.
And then he was the guy overnight in between day 1 and 2. He got me back up and running. And I was saying to him this weekend, if you hadn't had helped me and fix that brake hose over in Chile, I probably would have quit racing because I was, struggling so much with just the front brake.
Yeah, could have been one and done for you.
Exactly. So I was like, hey, Richie can thank you that I'm here racing.
That's awesome. So I don't know whether you realise, you're the third New Zealander to ever win what's now the EDR series. So Justin Leov, Matt Walker, obviously last year, and now you. So that's also pretty,
and I think Eddie and Win as well.
Oh, actually, yeah, of course. I forgot those two. I cooked that completely. Yeah, Win one in Rotorua, and Eddie's one as well.
Yeah, Eddie and Lazor. And I guess Rotorua was that super muddy one. Was that like maybe 16 or something?
That was the first one there, which was 15, I think. So that's 15. Even early days, Yeah. But it's a pretty elite group of you guys that have won rounds. But I mean, even more to the point is you're actually now sitting in the lead overall.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe that. I've got the Leaders jersey. I don't even know that we had a Leaders jersey, like specialized one. And then, sure enough, the team manager, he just pulled one out. It's all printed up. I'm like, holy shit, this is. Well, obviously he was expecting it, but I definitely wasn't.
That's epic. Like, I guess they're just prepared for all eventualities, but that's unreal.
Yeah. So now it's a bit of extra pressure, but I'm kind of just having fun with it. I'm like, well, I wasn't expecting to be here, so we may as well just keep chipping away and see what happens.
I can't imagine there was probably anyone else that could have won that more people would have been happy for either. Like, I'm sure everyone was stoked that you'd moved in there and taken that win.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Richie, who was super competitive, was like, fair play. The only problem was in Poland, winning in front of Slav, who's Polish, was a little bit hard. But the Polish fans are just epic, and they've been, some of them were saying to me during the day, they're like, oh, keep going, you're going well. Like, we want Slav in first, you in second. Some of them were like, oh, you can be in first, Slav can be in second. And it was pretty crack up. But, it was super nice. The other riders are stoked. Jesse was real happy, and it's just cool to, we're racing against the clock. We're competitors, but you're not
exactly
like XC where you're trying to kill each other.
Yeah. So you were second in finale, and obviously won now. Like, have you had a different off season this year? Do you think it's just like a combination of building blocks over the last few years, or just coming in strong?
Yeah, I reckon I had like way more time off the bike, just resting and especially just recharging mentally. And then I'm doing quite a bit more cross training.
Yeah.
Like just different stuff, like, running, hiking, gym stuff. Just to keep it exciting, because I was getting a little bit sick of just riding all the time.
Yeah,
so I think that's probably just helped freshening it up. And then we actually, Tom and I, TP, we did quite a lot of just testing days. Like, before we left, we probably almost got 4 or 5 days in, sort of in the month leading up to leaving. And it's just so good just to get time on the bike, like, go out, do 10 laps at high speed.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what you're doing in the race. Like, you're in that same sort of accuracy. And
you've got a pretty special relationship there with Tom too, because like he rips on a bike, so that must be pretty handy to have someone you can actually like ride with and bounce stuff off.
Oh, it's perfect, eh? Like he's my go-to guy for any sort of setup stuff. If I ask him, I know that he'll have the same idea or a better idea of it than I do. So it's because he knows how to race, he knows how a bike works. He's just super passionate about it, and makes it way easier. And he's a friend too, so like we're sharing all these experiences and memories together, the good and the bad. So it's it's pretty special, eh?
No, that's epic. And actually, speaking of the bikes, I've noticed you've all been racing the Stumpy, and I believe that's the lesser travel version in their kind of enduro bikes compared to the
Yeah.
enduro. What's the kind of rationale there? Do you feel faster? It's like,
Yeah, it's a good point. I think like both bikes are super capable. Yeah, Shannon won the nationals on the enduro,
yeah,
and yeah, last year I had some good results on the enduro, but I've just spent so much time on the Stumpy now. We started racing it because it was good on the tight stuff. It's just a bit more maneuverable and it's a bit shorter wheelbase, which is
yeah,
pretty helpful when it gets tight. And when it's fast and open, it's fast and open anyway. It's just about, letting off the brakes.
yeah, for sure. It sounds like it's plenty capable.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've got the skills and the strength to hold on to it when it's rough. Like you're either holding onto a 150mm bike or holding onto a 170mm bike. It's basically the same. But just those tight corners, I reckon it helps a bit. So yeah, we tested it on a real tight track and it was slightly quicker. So then we're like, we'll just try race it. And now that I'm so comfortable, don't want to change really.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's still a big bike. Like it's 150mm.
It's plenty.
In the rear, and I'm running 160 in the front. Some people run 170. And I'm running the Lyric as well, which is just like a little bit smaller fork, but it's still, I reckon that fork's like 60% stiffer than the last Lyric, so it's still like a pretty beefy fork.
Yeah, so the bike setup's obviously, you've got that pretty dialed by the sounds of the testing and everything you've been doing. So yeah, why change if it's a good thing? You were on it last year as well, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically, I think we've changed a couple of psi in the fork and maybe one click on the clickers since last season. So it's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds pretty dialed. So I saw that you went straight from the enduro and did sweeping at the downhill as well. Were they actually like pretty close together, or I wasn't sure on the actual logistics between the two events?
Yeah, it's only about 15 minutes drive to get over there.
Super close.
And yeah, the sweepers cancelled on them, so they just had one Polish
no
dude,
way.
and then three of us, me, Matt Walker, and Ant-Man. He's the mechanic for Forbidden.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we just got to go lap the down course, and my God, it was a fun track.
It looked amazing.
Just like whenever there's a new track, it's always good, and the Polish just care so much about having us come that they put in like extra effort, made sick jumps. They thought about the speed, so you weren't over jumping stuff. It was really well done.
Yeah, it looked like a cool track. And then did you get to hang around and watch the racing as well, or have you kind of taken off again?
Oh, yeah, we watched it yesterday. And honestly, we were standing at the bottom with about 20 Kiwis, and Lockie was coming down, and he started going green. And we were pretty much crying, some of us. Like me and Eddie, we had tears in our eyes. It was incredible. And then he just had that unfortunate washout on that sort of flat section. And it was heartbreaking, but also so exciting because it's just like, he's fine. He got bounced back up, and looking forward, it's such an exciting time for Kiwi downhill.
Yeah. I was watching it.
Racing, really.
Watching it this morning with my 3-year-old son, also called Charlie, and he was getting into it because I told him he was from New Zealand, so we were watching it, cheering, and that crash was heartbreak, but man, that Lockie is so talented. Like it wouldn't surprise me to see him win one of these, and this year or next. Like he was on an incredible run.
I know. I think it's just like now it's just the racecraft. He's got the speed, he's got the skills, and he's figuring out the mental side of it. So it's just it's a matter of time.
Yeah, and then even the junior woman was awesome. Like we ended up second, third, and fourth. Like Ali's qualifying run was insane. Second overall in the women's. Like it's awesome.
I know. Yeah, no, the Kiwi contingent's so strong, and those junior girls are just like watching them ride is so impressive. They're just like strong, relaxed on the bike, and just charging.
They're so fast, and they've got such good style.
Yeah, such good style. It's sick.
It's incredible. So clearly you're at the airport. We can hear the gate calls going on behind you. Where to from here?
We are flying to Italy and then back to the team warehouse in France today. So be parked up there for the next couple of weeks, and then just getting ready for Leogang. So got to try and hang on to this leaders jersey.
yeah, for sure. How did Leogang go for you last year?
Pretty good. I think I was 5th there.
Right. So we could have another good strong showing. Hopefully, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, I'm keen. I'm fired up. So it'd be nice to keep the competition, keep Richie honest. That's the
Yeah.
goal. So, yeah, no, I think it'll be good. Bit of rest and then just focus on that. And then, another bit of rest and a few more races. And then we have a big sort of midsummer break in August. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, and great to catch up with you, and thanks again for your time. But looking forward to watching how League again goes, and maybe enjoy a little bit, a couple of days rest, and back into it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for the call, and thanks to all the Kiwis for the support. It's been humbling, the amount of messages, and just everyone's shouting out and stoked for me. So it's really cool.
No, mate, we'd love to see it. Thanks again. We'll let you get on the plane, and we'll try and catch up again after maybe a couple more rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. Cheers, KB.
Awesome. Thanks, Charlie. See you, mate.
Yeah.